Welcome to Sports Friends podcast, guys. This is our actually first schoolboy football show for the season. You guys have been asking for it, and today we have our regular analyst Dima in the house. Big up Dima,
Yes, sir.
and our
Yes, sir.
guests
Big up.
guys that are very knowledgeable about Manning Cup. So we're talking about Manning Cup tonight. From this or that Sports TV. So we ask them to introduce themselves.
Walk on sports fans. I am Jomar.
I'm Rush.
I know we're this or that sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting, and everything sports topics, discussions, and debates on the internet.
Yeah, straight up. People, normally when I tell them to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that. But
You
make
can
sure
tell them.
you tell them.
No
I
man,
tell
yes
them right
people.
now. Make sure they like
Yes,
this.
people. Make sure you like the subscribe and also go over to their channel
Yeah,
and like this or that sports TV. So guys, remember to go over to their channel, like and subscribe. They have a very good channel over there going on. So
Yeah. But remember just say, Josh. Remember just
yeah.
say, like I've been following these guys for a minute now. I know so only hear about twins of twins. These guys are the twins of the football world. So when you go over there, go subscribe, like, share, and make sure you comment. The thing no normal. So like I say, if me I tell you no, you know so the thing. So you go and like and subscribe. All right, go ahead, Josh.
And big up to our commenters. So far we have Fresh got in the place as well as Latoya and Kish, who's a big KC fan. So big up Kish. Before we reach the semifinals, guys, what do you make of the season so far in the Manning Cup?
Well, to be honest, this season, a market improvement from last season. Last season the quality wasn't as high, because the teams weren't as prepared as they wanted to be due to the whole COVID conundrum. But the football, the level of play definitely improved dramatically this season, and the top teams have really gotten much better. But we've also seen teams who weren't as illustrious, teams that aren't necessarily renowned for football. We've also seen them make vast improvements as well. So I think comprehensively, it's been a very good season so far. What do you think?
yeah, bro. I think Issa has done a great job.
Yeah.
This season. Last season we see maybe 30 teams played in the Manning Cup, and this year we have I think 2 times that, and in terms of the televised games, they're doing a great job. The staff, they at Sportsmas, they're doing a great job at covering the Manning Cup and even the Da Costa Cup, to be fair. So I feel like it's a really they're improving the Manning Cup. And also I must say, when I was in high school, one thing I love about schoolboy football is the Champions Cup. It came towards the back end of high school for me, but the Champions Cup is something that I love. So I'm really excited to see what Digital and Issa will do with that Champions Cup. But this season, great. I've seen a lot of good football.
Yeah, even to kick it off, first and foremost, the jerseys.
Yeah.
As you said, they went stupid.
Yeah.
That Issa provided, they seem to have been filled with start, and that definitely aided in the atmosphere of the football. The venues that the football has been played in,
surfaces.
Calabar, JC, Stadium East, kudos to Royal Lakes, Prison Oval, kudos to those venues and the fans in those areas, because they've come out and they provided a great atmosphere. So all in all, being there, we've been in the stands, we've been on in the playing area. The atmosphere has been very good for schoolboy football. KC has been good, JC as usual, St. Andrew Technical, Charlie Smith. So a lot of teams really provided a lot of good turnout, and the atmosphere for schoolboy football has been good. The quality of football has been good. There's something I was saying to Rush the other day that this is the first year in schoolboy football that I think we recently recorded a video. I'm not sure if it's posted, but it will be posted, where we had our quarterfinals, best 11 or best 18, and in prepping for that video, we could have called players from so many different schools. Normally, we would have only been eligible candidates from like 3 schools, but this time we literally had people from many different schools being eligible to make our 18. So the quality of football has been good this year, and we've really enjoyed the Manning Cup.
Yeah, well, that leads me to my question then, because obviously we're not gonna talk about the team them who already reached. Apart from those the 4 who gone through already and stuff, who has been your standout team apart from those? Because you say you can name players from a lot of different teams.
Trust me.
So give just one.
One.
From one different school from the favorites.
We have a couple of but I give one. I like what Campion did this season. I really like what Campion.
Campion?
Yeah, Campion went to the second round. This season. And they didn't lose by more than 2 goals in any game up until that point. In the first round they pushed Excelsior, in the group. They beat out Katie and those schools that did well last season. And they have some players. They have Kai Miles. They have a lot of players that young players that are playing coach right now. That I can't imagine the average age of that champion team. It must be around 16.
And they're one of the teams that normally lose by a lot of goals in the first round. So they are a big surprise for you.
Exactly. No, champion usually get violated, by the cases of Excelsior who are second round teams. So I like champion. You have some other schools, some Jago and some other school that.
What about
No.
Captain had a good season.
Yeah, because I think they did very well this season.
Yeah. I was expecting a little bit more though. I was expecting the second round from them, but decent season.
And Jomar, who are you?
For me, a school that I logged on to a bit late. But by the way, I was asking to send the links so I could share it with other people so they could come on as well. But yeah.
I producer to them something.
Yeah, so for me, there's a school that I logged on to them a bit later on in the season, but Jose Marti. I saw Jose Marti, and Jose Marti really gave a good account for themselves, and they definitely proved that they deserved to be in the second round because they were disciplined. I think they were well coached, and they were consolidated by one of the best goalkeepers this season in the Manning Cup, Messam. Yeah. That was his last name, and they really, though being violated by Kingston College in the return leg.
That's our word, by the way.
Yeah.
I will pick it up.
Yeah, in the first leg they were formidable. They definitely pushed KC to the limit, and there's a lot of respect garnered for Jose Marti. But one thing that I have to mention, I just wanted to mention Jose Marti, but he mentioned champion, but Haile Selassie.
Yeah, bro.
In fact, I had Haile Selassie coming out of their quarterfinal zone instead of Stats and Mona, and Woolmers. Sorry, instead of Stats and Woolmers. Because their zone was JC, Stats, Woolmers, Haile Selassie. My prediction was that Jamaica College would top the zone and Haile Selassie would come second. Because after observing them and seeing all that they possessed, they're well coached by Linval Dixon. Their backline is very solid. They have a very good young goalkeeper, and their captain Duar is one of the top players in the Magic Cup. So I had Haile Selassie upsetting Stats and Woolmers. It didn't work out that way because Stats had a late comeback in the first match versus Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was leading 2-1 until the 80th minute, and then Stats came back. And then they played against Woolmers, and they pushed Woolmers, and then ultimately Woolmers got the better of them. Obviously, we knew that they weren't going to beat Jamaica College. But my prediction of Jamaica College and Haile Selassie coming out of that zone was like 10 minutes away from coming to fruition. So Haile Selassie really is my surprise team of the season.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, go on, Josh.
Yeah, so you guys mentioned like the playing field has been vastly improved in terms of the where the matches are played. What about the fan support though? Because we know that few schools normally get a lot of fan support, like KC. What about the rest of the schools? Because I'm seeing where like Stadium East is normally up for most of the games. What you guys made of the fan support this year?
You have to understand that some schools, their supports are just going to blow every other support out the water. When you think about a Kingston College or a JC or a STGC, any school they go up against, they're going to have majority of the support in the Stadium East. But to tell you the truth, I've been to Excelsior. I saw a lot of students there. I've been to Mona. They had a good turnout. I've been to St. Jago. They over there. They had a good support. Royal Lakes and Jose Marti.
Very well.
Yeah, Jose Marti.
Royal Lakes is a couple of miles away from Jose Marti, and they traveled extremely well to that game. And Woolmers, as usual, will have a good turnout. College, so on and so forth. Yeah. Charlie Smith, as we mentioned before, Charlie Smith traveled extremely well. In their first two matches, we know Charlie Smith full up Anthony Squadron complex when they played home games there. But what surprised me was how well they traveled when they went to the Stadium East to their quarterfinal.
I'm pleased with the support. Schoolboy football, we say right now we think it's the biggest football competition in Jamaica over the JPL. We honestly believe. And they can tell, especially
so I guess then in follow-up to that, then I think the accessibility of it in terms of like Uno, like YouTubers now, like make the thing more promoted and stuff like that, and you can watch it on what Sports Max on YouTube sometimes and all of that kind of stuff. You believe that's what's causing the support now? Like, I mean, apart from the traditional schools who always are go full up the thing, the KCs and them something, but do you think that plays a part? I'm half a big enough because I really spread the thing all over. So I think that plays a part for me personally. But what you guys think?
Yeah, not to toot our own horns or anything, but I definitely think that me and Rush and the YouTube fraternity in general,
Guna.
you
Big
know,
shout out to
military Guna.
Yeah, military Guna, yeah.
Military going, yeah, man.
We've seen him at many games, but we definitely believe that we, more than conventional media, you know, have been pivotal in pushing the Manning Cup this year. And I think it's one of the most patronized Manning Cup, bro. If I'm not mistaken, you know, the quarterfinals being filled on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, at the
Wow.
you know, like that's unprecedented, especially when massive schools aren't playing at that time. So I definitely do believe that unconventional media has something to do with it. But shout out to Sports Max. They've been very, very good. You know, their coverage has been good. You know, bro, there's this thing that would have happened like a few years ago, even at the JPL games, where they even national senior team games, where they travel with one camera, and you get one camera for the whole game. And I watch that on TV, and I'll be like, them have to do better. But what I've seen is that televised games at Winchester Park, Stadium East, Sabina Park, Excelsior, so on and so forth. They have like various angles, you know, they have mobile cameras moving, so on and so forth. So you get the games being covered, you know, in a very professional manner. So the quality that's brought to when the games are televised is very good. My issue is that not enough games are televised.
Yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of games that aren't televised. There are a lot of people who would have played in the Manning Cup and haven't gotten the privilege to play on TV. You know, we always wanted that televised game when we played in the Manning Cup, and unfortunately, we never get to a point where that was a possibility. But I definitely like what Sportsmax is doing. They've been putting an emphasis on getting more teams TV games, bro.
Yeah, one thing I must add to that, bro. I'd love to see for next year the team get a little bit more competitive. You know, in terms of the first round, you know, I feel like I saw too many violations. I feel like in this Manning Cup, you're going to get that when you have KC in a group or JC in a group or Mona this season or Georges. You're going to get those 9s and those 13s and those 8s and those 10s. But I feel like, you know, we should make, not we, but I guess Issa and the school should make an active effort, you know, to get some of these schools, you know, some more facilities, get their facilities improved, you know, get them some more resources and help them. Instead of just Jose Marti having Gavin Messaman, if he was 17 years old, I'm telling you right now, that kid would not be at Jose Marti next year. You know, and Duara would not be at Haile Selassie. You know, so I feel like we can improve, you know, at the bottom of the first round, you know, and their performances.
Don't you think though that this season there's been an improvement, that there's
been a slight improvement.
Yeah, there seems to be more teams regarding that.
Yeah, so to that point, you know, obviously
I want to see a bit more.
Obviously you'd love to see parody, but
it's not gonna happen.
I hold the view. People always say parody is what improves sports. I hold the view that parody is what makes us love sport. Parody is what makes an upset. So I mean, the lack of parody is what makes us love sports. The lack of parody is what makes an upset so riveting. The lack of parody is what makes an invincible season possible. The lack of parody is why we can see Manchester City face off against Manchester United, or sorry, not Manchester United, that's not a team. Manchester City face off against
well said.
And that's such a huge match. And it's because of the lack of parody. So me personally, I'm not an advocate for parody or for closer games. You know, I like the fact that I can go to a game and see a team get 13 goals.
Yeah,
I love to see that. Like, I love to see goals.
I love to see.
I think the lack of parity is important in sports. You know, people who want equity in sports and equality in sports, idealists.
It's never gonna happen.
And I also think that I also think that persons like to see traditional teams continue to do well.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Just like as you mentioned before, like the biggest team in England, Manchester United. Traditional teams, right? So in Manning Cup, we like to see the KCs, the JCs every year competing against each other because of the crowd support and the whole massive vibes between them. So
good try. I see what you're trying to do.
I understand what Rush is saying about improving
a little bit more.
I definitely want all the schools and all all the young footballers in Jamaica to be exposed to good facilities. But I think the Manning Cup is the way the Manning Cup is because we can see St. Mary get 13-0. And I don't want that to be limited. You just want beer too love in the Manning Cup?
Not beer too love.
Exactly.
But the odd 13-0 would be fine. I don't think
this
we saw way too many.
We never seen much violation this season.
Bro, look at how many goals JC scored and KC scored and Mona scored and George scored. And so I feel like, yes, I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But I feel like we can improve
like
a little bit
even
more.
the Mona versus Camperdown game, that's a game. The Mona versus Camperdown, the first game was a violation. But you know that there were disciplinary issues, so on and so forth. The second game with Heidel, apparently Heidel, like Mona didn't do as well in their first game against Heidel as they did in the second game because of player ineligibility, so on and so forth. So my point is that this season, the few violations that took place were not necessarily supposed to have taken place. The only one you can say, should have gone is the Waterfords and the St. Mary's. And I do think, I sound like a huge capitalist, but I do think that is important for the sport of football. I do think teams need to be
Yeah, we get that. All right, Josh, go ahead.
You guys mentioned about the vast improved fields and the performance. This season seems to be one I've noticed where the discipline was very, very good in terms of I'm not hearing regarding any conflicts or dispute, much dispute during the season or disciplinary reasons for players. What you guys made of that, the discipline in the overall game?
It was okay. I haven't been to a lot of games where I see a lot of red cards. Recently in the quarterfinals, I think maybe one red card.
And it was a professional red
card. It was a professional red card.
Where it was a one-on-one and he brought the player down.
Not a lot of red cards.
Daniel Mitchell got one as well. Daniel Mitchell got also a professional red card.
In the second round. So one in the second round, one in the quarterfinals. In the earlier stages though, Heidel got in some trouble.
And Camperdown. Camperdown got 4 red cards in addition to Camperdown. Coach being suspended.
But Heidel, apparently, these clearly accusations, by the way, of Heidel using ineligible players. You mentioned it a while ago, Josh. We heard something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know
if we heard it.
Stands to it, but I heard it. I must say.
And that's like generally every season we heard about ineligible players every season. This season seems to be regarding that, not much issues regarding that though.
You know what? I think the atmosphere provided and the organization, the elite organization displayed by ISA definitely led to the competition being run very well. As it relates to the competition being run, there's one bone that I have to pick. I'm not sure if Rush wants me to mention it right now. The officiating.
You can go for it, bro.
Man, because we were going to ask about that too. So go ahead.
Oh, so what we've seen, we've seen some questionable officiating, and that's a euphemism, to be honest. It's been I'd say it's been very bad, and I think it has cost the teams games, or even the chance to get back into games. Some crucial.
I'm not showing the word. I'm a Mona pass student, and what I've been hearing, ball go out. Yeah. And them said the ball never go out.
That game against Camperdown was
and that just Mona too. I think KC seems to got some questionable decisions this season.
There's, as I said, it's been tossed around.
We're not calling name, but it happens.
Yeah, we're not
allowed. Wait, Josh. You see, on phone channel, when you can don't call the name, but here so the people need to know the names.
No, the thing about it is that right now at this point, we have to be more political than we usually are.
Okay.
Be more political.
Image for upload. You get some people come for it.
It's just the truth, though, and the officiating could be better. But at the same time, I guess you have to understand that they don't have VAR. We become so accustomed to VAR and the odd replay. Every goal is getting replayed. The offside. We're used to seeing those lines. So when we watch back a replay, we say, "Oh, that no offside." Now we feel like we need to beat people because we're so spoiled now because we have VAR. But the ref, they're trying. I think they need to do better. I've seen some good refs and I've seen some poor refs. So I think the level of officiating needs to be improved. But in time.
But let's face it. I mean, even in a big English Premier League, you hear that call. So I mean, what we can expect from more things.
Without cameras, without
without
all
what
those.
Can we expect from our thing? I mean, Jamaica, we've produced one of the renowned referees in the world game, in addition to a few good female referees as well. We've sent referees to the World Cup. So I don't think that what can we expect from, we have the ability and the quality
Yeah,
and
that's
the
fair.
wherewithal,
That's
the football
Mm.
knowledge, the physical ability to provide good referees. So it's not that we aren't able to provide good referees. Whatever it is that needs to be done to get the referees to the
Yeah.
standard they need to get to, I think we need to do it. But
Yeah.
we're not incapable of
Yeah,
developing.
yeah.
I've seen a few though.
Yeah.
I've seen a few that I like. I've seen a female that ref the Ozemarty KC game. That was a good ref, I must say. Even though she made a call and we came under some fire for it, but she was good in that game. And now looking back at it,
Alas, the call that we said was a bad call.
it was actually a good call.
Ultimately turned out to be a
Yeah.
controversially good call.
Yeah, and
A
she was great.
questionably good call.
She was great in the game.
So
Mm.
that had to be one of the best officiated games you've seen. The KC versus Jose Marti first leg that Jose Marti managed to steal 2 points from. To steal a point from, KC would have felt like they lost 2 points in that game.
Yeah.
There was a few decisions that could have gone either way, and she made the absolute right decision. It seemed like every single time.
Right.
So we've seen good officiating, but we've also seen bad and very bad.
Yeah.
You
Gotcha,
guys mentioned
gotcha.
earlier about Haile Selassie, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the improvement of non-traditional schools has a lot to do with more professional coaches being spread across the whole spectrum regarding a lot like Haile Selassie? They have a Linval Dixie, you said, right?
Yeah.
Who's normally one of the top JPL coaches, right? Do you think that is mainly responsible for you're seeing those non-traditional schools improving, getting professional coaches?
I see some correlation there.
It has to be.
And in fact, when you think about it, Davian Ferguson has been at JC and he's performed over the years. Craig Butler, we know the football mind that he is. Raymond Watson at Kingston College. He's worked under Ludlow Bernard for years. He's been at Kingston College for over 15 years. We think about Haile Selassie with Linval Dixie. We think about Charlie Smith with Eugene Williams.
Yeah.
Jerome Wade,
and now at Wilmot High School.
and even the St. Jacob coach now, he coached at Mullines United.
Yeah.
So a lot of good coaches.
Yeah, the coaching pedigree in the Manning Cup, to your point,
Charges
definitely have gotten much better, and it has to be. That has to be the reason why we've seen such a bigger distribution of talent. To Rush's point, he believes that there's not enough parity, but I believe that to his point there isn't. But I also believe that the distribution of talent is way more this season than I've ever seen it before. Normally I have the odd Macon Aldrich, but there's nobody else of note. But we can look in all the different schools and see like 2 or 3 players that were like, those players are going to play football at a higher level, or those players are going to play Division 1 college football.
Yeah.
So
and good coaches, man. Stats, Philip Williams, Tivoli, Christopher Nicholas, a former reggae boy. I'm talking about some real good football minds. And as I say, there's a correlation there in terms of if it's the cause, I would say that is definitely affecting the good football that we're seeing. So yeah, that's actually a good point, Josh. Good that you mentioned.
And regarding back with the coaches, right? There's an argument going around that Philip Williams of Stats or from Stats is the best schoolboy football coach. Do you agree with the argument? I think it's based on what he has to work with, given they don't have the luxury like KC, JC each year, but he normally gets Stats to overperform, overachieve, going to the latter rounds of competition. So persons have him as the best schoolboy football coach.
Is he one of the best schoolboy football coaches?
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes, but it's unfair to the boys. You think about Satchel, Reed, Livingston,
And
Gooden, Lang. They have some really good players at Stats, but it's unfair to the boys.
Over the years that we've seen the likes of Jaden White come from schools of, so Stats have definitely produced very good players,
But at the same time,
but
a big coach.
No, Philip Williams is an outstanding coach at the schoolboy football level, but to just outright.
Yeah, you say too sure.
Yeah, because there's an argument going around, that they will give him over Never Bell.
I would not.
You can't give over Never Bell, man. Oh God, man. What Neville have done at St. George's College, man, that is, I can say for sure, the closest thing to that is probably, obviously Miguel Coley dominated for a certain period of time, but Neville Bell at St. George's, a Neville Bell team. And I would say if it's a Neville Bell, it's probably the best schoolboy coach. Obviously at other levels, you have coaches, whatever.
Easy.
Do you agree with that, Dima?
Take nothing away from
Neville Bell, yes, man.
Coach. we've seen him time and again prove his worth. You know, consistently getting stats to the semi-finals. But I think stats have been gratuitously given the term of underdog.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that they possess some of the best
bro.
players in the Manning Cup. You know, Shaquan Satchel, he's arguably the best player in the Manning Cup. You know, he's arguably one of the best players in the Manning Cup.
He's in the argument.
You know, and as I said,
read what he did last year.
Yeah, so I think the assertion that Williams is the best coach simply because he doesn't possess the resources and the talent that these other schools do is an unfair assertion. Because trust me, Stats do invest in their football program. Believe it or not, we've seen it because we've been to Stats. You know, we've done schoolboy football features on all of the top schools and a lot of the non-traditional schools. We've gone to the schools, we've done features on them, we've spoken to a few of the players, we've spoken to the coaches, and we've seen Stats in training. You know, Stats are very organized, Stats are very well, you know, I'd not say very well funded, but they definitely seem to be funded. Stats camps far out of town first and foremost. They have a full summer camp. You know, they're completely attired. They're in matching clothes for training. You know, the boys don't lack for boots. You know, it was raining the other day. I saw their metal studs come out. You know, Stats, they're not lacking for resources and support when it comes to their football program. And I think that's obviously result driven because of how well they've done to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not make it look like Stats is just a school that has 3 footballs and them have to have big boots and yet still feel carry them to semi-final, because that's the furthest from the truth.
So you wouldn't say that they have overachieved over the years?
It might seem that they have, but like when you by name, because they're saying Andrew Technical, but when you look at the grand scheme of things and look at the talent that they've possessed and they continue to possess, I don't necessarily think they have overachieved.
And you know, do away with what we say. They don't think they've overachieved. If you ever speak to Coach Philip Williams, he doesn't think that he's been doing anything overachieved. He believes that they have a good team, a good couple of boys, and they are doing well. That's honestly what he believes. We spoke to him and he's saying, yo, I've made it to the semifinals. Now it's time to win the Manning Cup. Now it's time to make it to the finals. He doesn't feel like he's an underdog. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay. And the biggest talk of the town this season is Mona High. I will leave that to Dima.
No. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. Because like we said, we're not keeping up for a long time. So we're gonna get to the major points now. So you're gonna tell me about the schools that have made it, like as fast as they can, and just tell we like your favorites to go on and win the entire thing. All right. Obviously, you don't have a pretty talk because I'm a Mona past student. You don't have to do any of that. But the thing is, when I was going to school, like, we did have a good Manning Cup team at one point. Decoy was there when they played at the time, and they have some decent ballers here and there. But a lot of people don't know that Mr. Man was there during my time at Mona. Marvin Morgan, and then, you know, George is flying up and stuff. So, like, we did kind of have some thing. And then Craig Butler came, and it seems like this is the Pep Guardiola of schoolboy football now. A lot of fanfare around Mona, a lot of fanfare around Craig, obviously, because he's the ultimate pantomime, if you want to call it that. So, what have you made of Mona? And then, you know, talk us through the other teams as we look to wrap up in a bit.
Let's start right there with Mona High School. The thing is that we've said it a lot of time on our channel with Craig Butler. He's so polarizing. It's either you love him or and with Mona High School, they love him. They love him, man, and the supporters love him. You know, the other day he got a red card and he was in the stands and he got banned for one game. When he was there, he came with a lot of shirts and he just gave away shirts to everybody. Just gave away Mona shirts. And you know, Mona support, I've never seen it this big. I've never seen Mona support this big. But on the football side of things, I think he's revolutionizing the way, you know, schoolboy football is played. He's trying to do it from inside out. So he's trying to start more. We spoke to him in the feature and he's saying that is what he wants to do. You know, he thinks that the way that we should play is the way Mona play. And I love how Mona plays. You know, Mona plays so direct. Mona doesn't try to keep the ball. Mona doesn't try to make 100 passes before they take a shot. The Mona, they are very direct. They try to play 2 passes and they try to get as many shots as possible. And that is why they outscore most of their opponents. I have Mona personally to win the Manning Cup. They are my favorites because of they are my favorites because of the talent that they possess. Joe Mara, I'm sure when he speaks about Mona, he will say this because we say it on every single conversation that we have about Mona. Man for man, they are the best team in the Manning Cup. When in terms of experience, that may let them down. In terms of just sheer composure, that may let them down. We speak about a Kingston College or a Jamaica College. In fact, that let them down. They were 2-2 up with Kingston College, and now it's just time to keep heading the game and get that extra winner. And they just couldn't get over the line. And the pedigree of Kingston College just outshone them in that game. But I expect Mona to put in a good showing in the semi-finals. And the other teams, Kingston College, that name alone speaks for itself. Kingston College is always going to be in and around it. Raymond Watson, really good coach, been the understudy, or I'm sure you won't like saying that he's an understudy, but he was the assistant coach for London Bernard for years. And now we finally got the role and he's doing well. He's scoring a lot of goals, obviously having one of the best players, having the best player in the Manning Cup in Whisper on his team. That definitely helps. But don't get it twisted. Casey's a good team. Speak about Blaine Byam. Speak about Lee, their goalkeeper. Speak about Shakes, their midfielder. Gibbs on the wing. When Whisper is not firing, he's definitely firing. Mattis came in and just won them a quarterfinal game just like that. So don't think Kingston College is just riding Whisper all the way. No. This is a really, really good team, and obviously they have a special player. JC, talent all across the pitch. Davidson, Blake, Wilson, Raviola in their mid pitch, Makwan, Aldridge. Just those names alone. On paper, they are good. They are so good. Rasika Rose, their goalkeeper. David Ferguson, a really good coach. They've been to the Manning Cup finals last year, and they're hoping to win it again this season. I really like Jamaica College. The next team, Stats. We spoke about Stats a while ago.
We spoken about them at length with the live.
Yeah, you did.
So all four teams, they can just go on and on about them because they're really good.
So basically, what are your predictions? Because you said that you think Mona's go
on. Mona.
We play JC.
Mona to beat JC in the final. It's going to be a close game. I think every game from this point on will be a close game. I think Mona will beat JC. In fact, probably expect some penalty shootouts. I'm expecting Mona to beat JC. I'm expecting Kingston College to beat Stats, but I'm expecting close games. And eventually,
what about you?
Well, to his point, about Craig Butler and the Mona team. Craig Butler took over the Mona team, but what many people might not know is that Mona's revamp is very unconventional. Mona is a quote unquote untraditional high school, not requiring the highest of pass marks to get in from.
Careful.
Yeah, Diva said careful.
The facts are the facts, man.
However, in their last Manning Cup season, we saw the likes of Alexander Bicknell, formerly of Campion College, the likes of Dante Peralta, a former Georgian, both of whom are currently students at Mona High School. This was a thing where Craig Butler kind of broke down barriers because of his academy. You would have those boys, and I guess I don't know how you sell to Bruce and Nicky Bicknell to send your son to Mona High School to move him from Campion College. I'm not sure how you sell that, but Craig sold it. Dante Peralta, his stepson, as well as a Phoenix player, would have moved from St. George's College to Mona High School. So it was things like these that we would have seen that changed the culture of Mona High School. And it was about the football and not necessarily about the school itself. So it was basically just a printing of Phoenix Football Academy onto Mona High School. That's basically what he attempted to do, and he did that successfully. So the revamp of Mona High School was very unconventional. It wasn't like what you normally see. We see players who would have come from quote unquote better schools academically to come to Mona High School simply because of the Craig Butler effect. And that's why it worked so fast. Some would say it's microwaved, but that's not the case because he's been working with these boys since they were like 8 years old. So that's how Mona, have gotten to where they've gotten to right now. Obviously, Rush just ran through the players and the teams that the caliber of players that the teams possess. My prediction in this Manning Cup, I was wrong, which I'm not normally wrong, but this time everybody have to get something wrong sometime. And I started out the season having Georges as my favorite because first and foremost we saw Georges play against Arden. Arden, my alma mater, by the way, a former Ardenite. We saw them play Arden, and their midfielders absolutely bossed the midfield, and they were so technically pure. the likes of Zabir Taylor, Brian Burkett, their first touch was impeccable. Their passing was on point. Their decision making was always efficient. Always made the right decision. And I guess the opposition was just too weak to find out. Obviously, I saw them from strength to strength, and I was just impressed with how they play. I was impressed with their technical ability. But what really defeated George this season, since we're on that point, is I think they weren't as rough, and physically they were outdone, and that's ultimately why they met their downfall. I don't think it was because of quality. I think other teams just outmuscled them, like KC. Anyways, I now think that Kingston College will go on to win the Manning Cup. Coach Raymond Watson, I think is the most underrated coach in schoolboy football. So we spoke about Philip Williams being, possibly the best coach, and we've rubbished that claim. I think Raymond Watson is the most underrated coach in schoolboy football, and he's not getting the flowers that he deserves. To do what he's done with an inexperienced Manning Cup team. This Kingston College would have suffered the loss of 19 players from their previous season. So coming into the season, me and Rush wrote them off, and I think we had all right to do so. Losing 19 of your players, losing Christopher Pearson and Jamon Bartlett, your two best players in the last season. Coming into this season, not expecting much, but Raymond Watson managed to get those boys playing football exactly how he wanted them to play, bro. And he's implemented so many different systems, and they've played in so many different ways, just depending on the opposition. Mm-hmm. And that's all chalked down to good coaching. So that's why I have them going on and eking out the rest of the Manning Cup, because I think both Mona and JC possess more talent than Kingston College does. I definitely believe so. Stats is also a team that's not to be trifled with, and they will push Kingston College all the way to the very end. I genuinely do believe that. But I think KC has what it takes to get a 1-0 or a 2-0 win over St. Andrew Technical and manage to beat whichever team they see in the finals, whether the JC or Mona. I think KC will beat them with Manning Cup. There we go.
Someone in the comment section was asking, just for confirmation, they were asking, Cadian, is Whisper still a part of Phoenix Academy?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, Cadian, he's still a part of the academy. So you're JC, KC, Demo, what are your views on prediction?
No, I mean, obviously I'm going to be biased. I mean, everybody here knows my views on Craig Butler. Like, I just can't get myself up for it. Like Russ say, either rate him or you hate him, and probably fall anyway. But obviously, me go be biased towards my school. There's always the whisper effect, and that's going to be our final question to you in a second. There's always the whisper effect, and he obviously can take a team. Like, it's just that sprinkle of stardust that they need to take you over the line in crunch games and crunch moments. Like, for a schoolboy, he's so composed, you know what I mean? And that's always going to be there. But then, I mean, I was watching these guys the other day when they were talking to Craig, and Craig have some what him call it? The domino 6 formation or something like that. I remember him telling us it name. And apparently he's the only person in the world who plays that formation, according to him. I mean, you can't write him off. His football brain is there for all to see, and he's obviously done wonderful work with Mona. I can't say I've watched a lot of stats or RJC, but those are the two teams, Mona and KC, that I've seen a lot on YouTube, and I've watched them. So I'm going to just be biased and say Mona, just because. So yeah, that's my prediction. But the last question with me want to ask him, Josh. I know you might have one.
Yeah, that's probably the last one for the night.
All right, so there's this big fanfare over Whisper, you know what I mean? And obviously when the Jamaica team got called up to play against Cameroon, there were murmurs of like why is he not in the squad, and look at what he's doing, and we don't have any vision when it comes to Jamaican football, like send the youth, he's good enough, all of that stuff. So the big question to you guys, having watched him play, how good is Whisper, and how far do you see him going? Not only in or for Jamaican football, but further in his career.
How good is Dejan Richards?
Yeah, to you guys, because you see him first, and
we don't have the bleep effect on the channel. He's
We
very
don't have no bleeping for it, but
he's very bleeping good. Yeah, Dejan Richards is very good. Like he's, I think, by far and away the best player under 20 in the country. I don't think it's debatable. I think his ability is unparalleled. He's the greatest Manning Cup player of all time, and he still has 2 more seasons of Manning Cup to play. November, 3 more seasons of Manning, not 2.
Wait,
Yeah, man.
you
He
said
has
of
2.
all time?
Yeah, you give him the greatest of all time, even over
Yeah,
Alex Marshall,
he's
Marvin
the
Morgan.
or let me say this then. This is the greatest individual Manning Cup season of all time. Then.
Yeah, me work with that because
Because
Scarrow play Manning Cup.
he's probably not the greatest Manning Cup player of all time because he's played, like you had people playing 4 or 5 Manning Cup seasons, and this is his only Manning Cup season. But let's just say he's the best player to play in the Manning Cup. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, Ricardo Gardner's played in the Manning Cup. Ricardo Fuller. Like we've seen a lot of good players play in the Manning Cup. And it might be recency bias. I was born in 1998. That might be the reason as well. But in all my years of watching Manning Cup, there's never been anything like it. And the closest I've seen is Junior Fleming. Junior Fleming's Manning Cup season, especially his senior year and the penultimate year, was ridiculous. But that Dejan Richards is doing right now, and the thing about it too that makes it so much more impressive is that he's not trying as best as he can.
Yeah.
Also, we've seen him get open opportunities, and because of the teammate that he is, he will pass up a goal to roll it across the goal. He does anything that he wants to do with whichever team he wants to do it with. If he's playing against Mona, if he's playing against Waterford, if he's playing against Jose Marti, when he gets the ball, there's no defender in the Manning Cup that is going to stop him from getting what he wants to get to, when he wants to get to. The only predicating factor of whether or not he scores a goal or get an assist is how well he kicks the ball. It's not the defense, and that's how good he is. If he hits the ball well, it's going to be a goal or it's going to be an assist. And we've seen it time and time again. He's bipedal, like he uses both feet. It seems almost equally well. He squares the ball with his right foot better than most squares the ball with their right foot, and he's left footed. We've seen him score numerous goals with his right foot. Effortlessly drilling it near post, top corner. He does that so frequently. His ability to win aerial battles, whether playing as a number 9, as a hold-up striker, or getting squares over in the box and getting his head on balls. He's good, almost a flawless player. And when he's in the mood, if he loses the ball, he'll run back all the way to his 18-yard box and just takes it from any forward because he's already bigger and stronger than there and faster. Yeah. So I can't stop speaking about how good Dejan Richards is. It's shocking how good recently turned 17, and it's shocking how good he is and how much better he can become. Yeah. Read the point of him being called up for the Reggae Boys team. I've been saying that Dejan Richards should have been given a call up for the Reggae Boys team. Even before his 17th birthday, he was playing in Brookhouse in England until he was like 15 or 16. Then he came home to be prepared for his professional move when he's 18, which is next. So, and he was scoring so many goals, he was doing a lot in England, and it's a travesty that he wasn't called up in the recent under-20 team. I think that's madness. But I definitely do believe that he warrants a spot in this team. Not necessarily because he's better than the likes of Andre Gray or Michael Antonio or Shamar Nicholson or Corey Burke, but because I do believe that he has the potential to get to that level. I genuinely do believe that Dejan Richards has the potential to get to the English Premier League level. Yeah. I think that's his ceiling, like a Shamar Nicholson, Michael Antonio, Andre Gray, Leon Bailey type. Somewhere in between a Shamar Nicholson and a Leon Bailey. Does he have Leon Bailey potential? I'm not sure. That's really high potential, but he's definitely somewhere close to that. Yeah. That's what I can see.
Joe Maguire, I'm not even going to the way he plays, but one thing I can sum it up and say is the money looks too easy for him. It truly looks easy. And he said we spoke to him in the final game of the group stage against Georges, and he said that you are playing at 50%. And then some people found some
a
issues
game
with that.
after which he scored 2 goals.
Yeah. Some people found an issue with that. And obviously, we caught him again on a day. He said that, obviously we could see that he tried a bit harder. 5 goals, 3 assists, just like that. You understand?
Reiterate,
Bro,
that number again.
That's 5. In case he scored 9 goals that day.
And the ninth that he wasn't directly involved in was a shot that he took that messed up the goalkeeper that we spoke about earlier. One of the made an amazing save from a whisper shot, and the rebound was scored. And that was the only goal that he wasn't credited with a goal contribution. And I see a lot of people mentioning names in the comment section, Ajani Walker, Alex Marshall, whatever. Okay, those are good players. Is the only comparable one.
I agree with you, but just to acknowledge them, I understand that you're saying those are good players, but think about what the kid is doing. Junior Fleming in his senior season of Manning Cup scored around 25 goals, somewhere around there. Whisper is already on 2021 goal, and he has already 18 assists. That is ridiculous in any league.
Ridiculous.
22 goals.
They have 22 goals and 18 assists. That already is ridiculous. And think about it. Still have the Champions Cup to play. If they win the Manning Cup, they got Oliver Shield. 2 more games in the Manning Cup. Don't tell me in his first season of Manning Cup at 16 years old /17, he's going to outdo what one of the greatest Junior Flemings did in his senior season. Just let that sink in for a second.
But I think people are say don't rush like Flemo actually wins stuff. So that probably add to his greatness in terms of winning. I mean, Whisper no win nothing yet.
Yeah.
Fair. If you're going to speak about, his winning mentality or him being a winner, a champion, fine.
He's a winner.
I agree, but if you're going to, if that's the argument you want to make, fine. But if you're going to talk about football ability, conversion, as a player, as an athlete, he's the best or one of the best.
You know what proved to me that he definitely has that dog in him, as they would say, that match against Mona. Where, as I said, people, and as we've said, Mona High School is player for player the most gifted talent-wise team in the whole entire Manning Cup. Like, let me go through it real quick. Akeem Bernard, if not the best goalkeeper, top 3 goalkeeper in the Manning Cup, without a doubt. Daniel Mitchell, if not the best central defender in the Manning Cup, the second best central defender in the Manning Cup. Dante Peralta, 15 years old, the best young defender right now in the Manning Cup, in my opinion. They have Carlton Brown, another player. That's one of my favorite players. He's in quality. He's not up to the standard of one of the best, but he'd start on almost any other Manning Cup team. And then in the midfield, you have Rabina Gordon and Romarian, what's his last name?
Thomas.
Romarian Thomas. That's Kante and that's Kante and I don't remember the other players' alias, but these are Itis. Kante and Itis. It is one of the most versatile player in the Manning Cup. Like, he's just as good a defender as he is a forward. Like, we saw him start the game at centre half, and he was absolutely bossing that game, and then coach moved him to strike and scored a hat-trick. Perfect hat-trick. Right? We talk about Kante. Just an outstanding, versatile player. Like, Kante is an 8, and a very good 8, and when he goes down the wing, and he beats a player and cuts inside, you're like, is this a winger? That's how good he is. Like, he looks... let me give an example. I saw Tarick Ximinies the other day play against... Which school was it, bro?
I think it was Haile Selassie, one of those teams.
I don't remember the school that it was. And that's not important, right?
Wolmer's.
It was Wolmer's, yeah. We saw Tariq Ximinies play on the right wing against Wolmer's, and Tariq Ximinies looked very ordinary. No, had Tariq Ximinies been playing right back, he's probably the best right back in Manning Cup. Right? And I don't think that's up for debate. He looked just as good. Kante looked just as good. And then they have, I think, the most technical gifted player in the Manning Cup. Denzel Washington McKenzie. His mother was obviously a huge Denzel Washington fan.
Obvious.
He's 15 years old and he is so good. Believe me when I tell you that this youth is so good. The man I think football. When them say some people play chess, some people play checkers. Denzel Washington McKenzie play chess. And the man back it up as well. And then we talk about Zane Pinnock. We talk about Kishane Gordon. Those are 2 wingers that walks into any Manning Cup team. Like, this Mona team player for player is absolutely amazing. And I use that to consolidate my Deshaun Richards point. He was going up against playing against a team that KC were outmanned, and outpowered. And Mona had the majority of position. The ball game was literally played mostly in Kingston College's half, Whisper was playing like a winger / 9. He was the only person up there, basically, for the most part.
Yeah.
And what he managed to do is only go ahead and get a hat trick in one of the most pressuring games in his season, qualifying
Yes,
his
sir.
top of his own in the Manning Cup quarterfinals against, I think, the most talented team. And I just think that's the stuff that he's made out of. You know, we saw him play at subpar.
Wait, hold on, Jomar. Hold on. Just keep it up. And if you don't believe them guys, these guys did one of the best highlight reels for a schoolboy football game that you'll ever see for that game. So no need to go over there and go watch that. That highlight thing was sick. Oh, they were at the game, they video the thing, they clip it out different camera angles, go over there, this or that sports TV, and then go watch it. But anyway, continue. I just had to say that it was sick. Big up.
Yeah. And as I was saying, the fact that he could have managed to. Oh yeah, I was saying to the point. The first game, Stadium East against Georges, you know, he had a subpar game. We spoke to his father. Apparently, his father said he was under the weather, and other people were saying this guy's overrated. What did he go back and do in Georges' backyard? Just score 2 goals and absolutely sink them. It's the same as he played in the Jose Marti game, you know, and he Jose Marti played a very good game, you know, and even in that game, he was still doing anything he wanted to do. Like he hit a bicycle kick and hit the crossbar. Like he was, as I said, the goalkeeper was very amazing. And he was like, we asked him after the game, you know, how do you feel about this game? He's like, bad, we got a draw. You know, how do you feel about the goalkeeper? It's a good goalkeeper. You know, I grade it 100% for this game, but I'll see man Saturday. And then he went up and he only scored 5 goals and got 3 assists. While that goalkeeper made 27 saves in that game. 27 in the game. And I don't know how many of those shots the Jaron shots. So I just definitely believe that he has that winning mentality, bro. Case he might not win because JC and Mona are very, very good. But I do believe that he has what it takes. Like he's a winner. He doesn't shrink under pressure, bro.
He loves the moment.
He loves the moment.
And to finish up in terms of him being called up to the national team. All right, if you're going to start seeing a team that we're trying to win a Gold Cup or a Nations League or whatever, fine. Even though I still think there should be that 1 or 2 spot where you're going to have your next up players. That's what I call it. But if you're going to call up a squad and you're going to play against Cameroon and you have 10 players, I checked it by the way. This is accurate. Jamaica called 10 players from the JPL. 10.
Yeah.
If Whisper was playing in the JPL, he would dominate, bro. Yeah. Come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this kid is above the Manning Cup level. And if he played in the JPL, he would be just as good as any other star forward. Call up the kid and blood him. Show him that you want him to play for Jamaica. In a team that you're calling 10 players are playing in the local league, and this is the best youngster in the country, you have to blood him. You know, so sometimes you wonder what exactly is happening. You know, so we're not saying, as Joe might say, we're not saying he's better than Mikel Antoni and Liam Bailey and Shaman Nichols and Java. Can't even say Java and East or Junior Fleming. He's probably not just there yet in terms of him being a professional footballer. It's just his ability, period. As a footballer, it's not there. But in terms of next up, and if you're going to compare him to what we have in the country, he's one of the best. Call up the kid and give him
I agree.
From the country.
And we see the big nations in the world do that. Generally do that. Call up some youngsters, even if they're not going to play them in the first team, but actually call them up to gain some of the tournament experience or just friendly experience. So, any more questions, Dima?
No, man. I have to say this though. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any last words and stuff, but personally, I want to express my gratitude and you guys coming on here and giving us some knowledge. I mean, obviously, we're not privy enough to go all of the games and watch all of the games like you guys and break it down. So I just appreciate the fact that you can come and give our community the breakdown of the Manning Cup and stuff. And I know you guys are looking to branch out to the Da Costa Cup 2023 and things are going to be bigger and better. So come and put in the work. And guys, they also do FPL. So I know we have our FPL thing running over here, and I know ask for tips and stuff when they can go over for them thing and get some tips in so they can pass me out. So because a big up.
Quick flex.
You guys are very knowledgeable regarding Manning Cup.
Don't close it out.
No, we're not close it out. We're not gonna close it out, boss.
Quick flex. In Jamaica, top 1,000. In fact, I'm just on the 200 mark. People, yes, Benjamin.
How much me there now?
How much are there?
So how much you there? Exactly how much you there?
206.
206. How much Joe Mar there?
219.
That is it.
Yeah, so they know the FPL guys. They know the FPL.
In the world, I think you have a couple million people that play this game.
Over
in the
15
world,
million.
over
Yeah.
15 million.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am
Yep.
202,000.
Yeah,
Don't get
that-
this.
that's-
And I'm
that's
218,000. So
Big
yeah,
flex. Big flex. Big
yeah,
flex.
we do it. You know, on all levels. You know, we know it.
So
Yeah,
I
go
want
on,
to say,
Josh.
guys, our viewers, remember to like and subscribe to our channel. So go over to this or that sports TV and like
Sir.
our brilliant analysts on schoolboy football. Trust me, they are very good. So like and
Yep.
subscribe their channels as well. Final word from you guys.
Man, come over to this other sports TV. You know, we're covering the Manning Cup and we're doing it well. We're thinking about, in fact, we're going to go to the JPL.
Yeah.
The JPL. And we're going to have a similar format to what we did with the Manning Cup. A lot of people, they're not in Jamaica, a lot of people from diaspora, you know, they connect with content. You know, you can see what's going on in Manning Cup. We are going to do that with the JPL because we think that we have some entertaining games and we have some good teams. So we're going to do that. People come check it out, talk about the Premier League, national team. Anything that's relevant right now, we're talking about it. So come and check that out.
14 teams in the JPL. You know what we did with the schoolboys, as I previously mentioned, we went to the various schools and we spoke to their coaches, we spoke to a few of the standout players. You know, we got some clips, and I take a lot of pride in our schoolboy futures. You know, that's probably where we really got into this. You know, it's done so well for us. Obviously, we branched off subsequent to that, but that's our bread and butter. And we're taking that same format where we are going to go to all 14 of the Premier League teams. We're going to speak to their best players. We're going to speak to their coaches. We're going to introduce the general public to them. You know, people have been asking for it, and we're at this or that sports TV tends to deliver on most of the things that people ask us to do. So that's something that we're venturing on. Obviously, the Manning Cup is coming to a prolific end right now, and we're excited about that. But the work definitely does not stop. And with the JPL, and next thing you know, a summer. Manning Cup again, you know. So that's basically where we are right now, and people should go and check it out.
Yeah, Shane Billing, good talk. We're actually working on it. He's saying do some more lives. Can we like the lives? We like communicating.
Yeah, for real.
So
Demo, last word.
No. Yeah, I was going to say it slipped me because they're just there talking. I was going to say something, but I forget. You can close it. It's fine.
Oh, you were talking. You're going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say. We're going to have the Costa Cup guys tomorrow.
No, not the Costa Cup, not the Costa Cup. But so I was going to say to these guys that for the Champions Cup, you know, might call again to come and give us a little analysis
over the weekend. I have the matchup here with me, but
no, the matchup tomorrow is the draw.
The choice. He said that the choice already been made, so I'm not sure. I have the matchups with me.
We see.
Yeah.
So, but whenever we need the info, we just look for calling you guys again. So big up yourself.
But guys, we'll have a review and preview of the Costa Cup tomorrow with someone special. You will hear more about that. So guys, tune in. And of course, as Rash Kalak is saying, Chester. Yeah, tomorrow we'll talk a lot about
Jesus.
Question will be, will Manchester go all the way?
Oh,
right?
God.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about CC, but tomorrow you will hear more about Manchester. The great.
End the stream, Dave. End the stream.
Guys, at one point we have over 42 persons. So big up guys to all the persons in our comment section. Big up again, this or that sports TV. Big up our regular analyst Demo, who actually got these guys to be on our show. So much
big up Ryan LFC too.
And big up Ryan. Yeah, big up Ryan LFC. Yeah, one of our big brethren. So guys, join us again tomorrow for the Costa Cup preview, and then we'll look at the World Cup squad in the nights. We start off with some of the big nations tomorrow at 8 p.m. and we want to touch Brazil. So I'm out. Big up and live good, walk good.
All right.